friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to finally be finishing up the living room makeover I had started in the previous video. I'm going to take you along for some projects that we have going around the farm, including some trail clearing for our boys to ride their dirt bikes, and just a few odds and ends around the house and the farm. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I hope you'll stick around and enjoy the final reveal of the living room makeover. Thanks for being here, and thank you so much for your support. It truly means the world to me. To the point in this whole process where I'm feeling stressed out and overwhelmed, and I feel like I get a little bit done and then I realize I have so much more to go, and that everything is just shoved in the middle and chaotic, even doing it one wall at a time. It does help tremendously, but still, oh my gosh, I'll be glad when this room is done and it's all put back together, because also as I'm painting and putting stuff back together, I'm deep cleaning it. So dusting, vacuuming, mopping, wiping everything down just really good. So anyway, I'm tired and I'm so ready for this room to be done. Unfortunately, it's bled into the other rooms of the house where, you know, I'm neglecting other areas of the house while I'm working on this. So I'll be glad to get this done. So. paneling is incredibly textured, and unfortunately I have had to do 2 coats. So it's as big of a project as I was assuming it was going to be. I was really hoping, I couldn't remember what type of paint I had used several years ago whenever I had initially painted it this brown color. And I knew then I had to do 2 coats, and it was literally 16 hours of painting. Unfortunately, even with really good paint, it's a little bit pricier. And it's paint that anywhere else I can only get away with 1 coat. It is a paint and primer. The walls, the paneling just drinks the paint. And because it's so textured, it's unforgiving. You have to be so thorough and apply such a thick coat of paint. And then there's still like color bleeding through where the texture is. So anyway, we're gonna be doing 2 coats. I've got 1 wall that I finished up that you can see here that I completely did last night. And it's got the 2 coats on it. It's completely trimmed out and everything. And then I ended up doing like a rub and buff type situation on the curtain rod that was there. I bought the curtain rod years ago, and that window is huge. It's like 6 foot. And so curtain rods, for a window that's large, they're pretty pricey. So instead of just buying a new curtain rod, I ended up spray painting it black and then used rub and buff on it to give it like a brassy look, because the fixtures in my home, as we're remodeling, we're replacing, and we're doing like that antique brass look. So anyway, I actually did that earlier. I didn't show it because I just did it in between helping my sons with their homeschooling this morning. And, I just kind of stayed in that area with them as they were working, and, just went over that. And so it's drying, and it actually looks really good. So this evening, I have every intention of putting that curtain rod up then here in the living room and getting the curtains up. I've already got them washed and air drying. So anyway, if I could just go wall by wall, it's way less stressful, especially on this side of the fireplace. And then on the other side, there are 2 of my husband's mounted deer heads, and they're extremely heavy and bulky. I didn't even bother taking the nails down because they're like in a stud. And I'm just gonna be putting them right back up. But if I can go wall by wall, it helps eliminate a lot of the stress and like clutter of just stuff sitting around, because I'm having to move furniture out. I'm having to take wall decor down. There is some wall decor that I plan on switching out or getting rid of and like doing something new. So as far as that goes, I won't put that stuff back. But the items that I do like, and I do like where they are at, and I like the decor that's currently there, that stuff, as soon as the walls are dry, I'm just gonna put them right back up. And then, like I said, doing wall by wall, that eliminates a ton of just clutter and stuff sitting around as I'm trying to work in this space. So anyway.
earlier in the day before I had started painting, I had decided I was going to make chicken and dumplings for dinner. So I had filled up this simmer pot with water, and you can't see it, but there's a couple of chicken breasts in here. They're frozen. I just toss them into the water, and I add some chicken bouillon seasoning. I prefer the powder form, and then I just add as I need to strengthen the broth to the flavor consistency that I want. So after I added the chicken bouillon seasoning, I just mix it all in and then set it on the stove to simmer. So it simmered a few hours throughout the day, and then once the chicken had cooked down and I had gotten the right consistency that I was looking for, I took the chicken breasts out and shredded them. And if y'all don't know this, a really great way to get your meat shredded in a very simple, easy manner is to use a hand mixer that you normally use for folding in cake batters and stuff like that. So once I had shredded the chicken, I put that back in, and I had tasted the chicken broth that had been simmering, and I decided that it needed a little bit more of the chicken bouillon seasoning. So I had added some more of that as well, and I'm stirring that in as we speak. So after I got that mixed in, I went over to the counter and started making my dumplings. So that is what you're going to see next. After the dumplings are done, I put them in the pot and let those cook down, and it just makes for a delicious and simple dinner. All right, y'all, here is the final reveal for the living room. I am so thrilled with how this turned out. The lighter paint color on the walls made a tremendous difference in helping the space not only feel open and airy, but just more inviting and welcoming. I am also so glad that I went ahead and painted inside the bay window where there was almost like a plywood on the top and bottom portion. It was stained and it matched the trim in the room, but it still just felt so dark, even around the window that should bring natural light in. So me having painted that also helped the room just feel brighter and more open. And then also painting and staining the end tables and the coffee table helped just make the room feel refreshed and revived. So at some point, I do want to replace those, but for now, just even repainting them and staining them made such a huge difference in making the room feel new and fresh and just homey and cozy. So I'm so happy with the end results. And I am so glad that I went ahead and took this project on. Even though it's a ton of work, it has made all the difference in how the space feels and how I feel in the space. So thank you all so much for coming along with me as I took on this makeover.